Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 50 of Popcorn Problems. My name is Ilan Pressman, and I'm here with my very good friend and fellow co-host,
Nicholas Tapasco. Every week, we'll make sure you're caught up with the biggest news and movies in Hollywood.
This week, we're going to be giving you our review of One Night Only, one of last weekend's biggest new releases. But before we get into that, what's poppin'? Where we run through the biggest movie stories of the week. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining us for episode 50. That is crazy. Actually, just insane. Um, As you guys know, every 10 episodes, we like to have a guest on. So I would like to welcome our good friend, Eliel. Thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you so much. It's quite the honor, to be honest. Thank you.
Of course. Tell us a little about yourself.
I'm a film student at NYU Tisch. Just like you guys, I'm a passionate of films, and I will say that One Night Only was definitely a masterpiece of a film that I did not expect. Without being too sarcastic about it, obviously.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to discussing this movie. So I'm gonna start breaking down the box office like we always do. Alrighty. So, surprise to no one, number one this weekend was Spider-Man Brand New Day. The weekend total, by the way, was 202.9 million, which is up 42.8% from that this weekend in 2025, but down 71.5% from last weekend. So yeah, like I said, Spider-Man Brand New Day was number one. In its second weekend, it pulled in 145 million domestic, which was a 60% drop from last weekend, which means that the domestic total is 655.1 and a global total of $1.67 billion on a $225 million budget. That's the third best second weekend of all time, and making 655.1 in 10 days that's the most in a 10-day period, which is really cool. Only Endgame got to $1 billion internationally faster than Spider-Man Brand New Day. And so far, it is MCU's number 5 domestic earner of all time. I think it's pretty safe to say it's going to make $2 billion, right?
Probably, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this is the movie to do it. You know, honestly, a little bit more than No Way Home. I appreciate that Brand New Day really is crossing that barrier. Just because I feel like it has just a little bit more sincerity. It's a little less cynical than No Way Home. So I'm glad that this is the one that really got people up and at him, and the word of mouth really worked.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if it's gonna be Endgame.
Definitely.
I
100% think it's gonna be. Oh wait, Endgame.
Really?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant Doomsday for some reason.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Endgame.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll be Endgame.
I mean, they're pretty close right now. It's not unlikely.
It's tracking really closely, and there's not much coming out in August to compete against it. So I mean, it's not out of the cards, which is crazy.
That's true, but then also like Doomsday is coming out, and like I don't know, we'll see. But like if you look at like on the long term of all movies and everything, I think it could be beaten by another Avengers movie pretty soon.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, man. You're telling me Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma might not take a big chunk out of Spider-Man. You know,
you have a good
point.
Yeah, listen, I am excited for that movie.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So number 2 this weekend is The Odyssey. In its fourth weekend, it pulled in $31.5 million domestic, which was a 38% drop from last weekend. The domestic total is at 461.1 million, and globally, it passed the $1 billion mark and is at 1.1 billion on a $250 million budget. It is officially Nolan's biggest movie ever, passing The Dark Knight Rises, and it's also the biggest IMAX release ever, where $289.3 million came just from IMAX ticket sales, which is crazy. I just think it's hilarious that they can't build more IMAX screens because they literally don't know how. They don't know how to do how to make the fucking 70 millimeter projectors. Since the 70s, they've lost the blueprints. So like, even though it's such a lucrative thing and it makes so much money, they just can't make more. There's only like 17 in the country, like something stupid like that.
I mean, I feel like after the hype that the Odyssey and all this other stuff and all the other movies coming out are building, I feel like they got to find a way to make new IMAX screens. You know, they didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Somebody's got to know how to make them. So
somebody's got to know, how to. Somebody's got to find the fucking blueprints.
that's
Yeah,
the
for how they
secret
made
formula, bro. The
these
secret
projects.
formula.
Yeah. And you're telling me that they were able to do it in the 70s and you can't do it now? I'm sure
Exactly.
someone can reverse engineer something. I don't know. They got to figure it out, man.
Just a little bit of effort. Just a little.
Just a teeny bit.
teeny bit of effort. That's all they do.
That's all we need.
Yeah. Number 3 this weekend is the film we're going to be reviewing. One Night Only. Woo! It pulled in 5 points. So yeah, I want to point this out. Huge drop off from 1 and 2. Spider-Man: The Odyssey. Odyssey pulled in 31.5 million domestic, and then that goes to One Night Only, which only pulled in 5.7 million domestic. Not a crazy opening, but the budget was, how much was the budget? You just looked it up, right?
It was 25 million.
Oh, I was gonna say that that's good for the budget, but that is not good for the budget. 5.7 million on a $25 million budget isn't ideal. I'm not too surprised. It is definitely a strange movie, and I don't know if the trailer did it many favors. Although I feel like there was a lot of like social media buzz, like people joking about the concept, but I guess it didn't really coincide.
The hype of the actors, like it's Dua Lipa's husband. Like there's.
Oh, are they married?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I think if they had a bigger star on top of Monica Barbaro and Callum Turner, maybe it could have pulled in more. But I guess we'll never know, right?
I mean, I feel like this movie is gonna pick up. You know what I mean? Or at least have like a steady and stable like theater release. Just because, like, I mean, you just told me that your screening yesterday that you were gonna go to was sold out. I didn't expect that. My screening,
three of them that we wanted to go to were sold out.
Yeah, that's insane.
So.
I would not have expected that at all. And like my screening, I went, I believe, Saturday night, like pretty late Saturday night, and there was still a good amount of people, and people were laughing. It seemed like people enjoyed the film. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if at least, you know, if it at least makes its budget back. I don't know about everything, but you know, I feel like it'll be pretty healthy for the cinemas right now.
I can see it like popping off on Netflix whenever it comes out there.
Yeah,
or I mean, it's Universal, so I think it goes to Peacock or whatever.
It's gonna go on streaming.
Yeah, I could see it being big on streaming whenever it comes out. It honestly felt kind of like a Netflix original movie. Just like the limited locations and all that. I don't know. We'll get into it when we review.
Sure.
Overall, year to date, the domestic box office is up 18% from last year. Between January 1st and August 9th last year, we pulled in 6.61. Oh, sorry. Of this year, we're at 6.61 billion. And then that same time frame last year was 5.57 billion. So yeah, we're not surprised. Got a huge bump from really big movies in July. We knew that was going to happen. I'm really excited to see where the Odyssey and where Spider-Man are going to finish off their runs, because I don't feel like they're slowing down, to be honest. You know, they're still, especially the Odyssey, it's like almost a month in already, and it's still, I feel like people are talking about it just as much as they were when it first came out. So
yeah, it'll be crazy to actually see which one beats. I mean, obviously Spider-Man is going to beat the Odyssey, but I can't imagine the Odyssey I can't imagine the Odyssey taking out a big chunk of Spider-Man. I feel like they're their own pretty specific audiences.
They're very different.
Yeah, they're very different. They're their own specific audiences, so they can maintain each other. You know, one tide or rising tides raise all ships type shit.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think that they're probably helping each other out. Yeah. Also, last thing I want to point about Spider-Man is that it's tracking to earn over $2.5 billion in its box office run. So I think Endgame capped off at around, I think it's at like 2.9 billion. So yeah, it probably won't reach Endgame, but 2.5 billion is still crazy. And it would likely, and if it does reach that, it would become the third highest grossing movie of all time.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, crazy. And then Destin Daniel Cretton trying to go do Naruto, man. No. Get to work on Spider-Man. Get to work on Spider-Man 5, big dog.
What you think you're doing, dog? We're not playing out here.
No,
Yeah.
Shackle him already.
So not much news to talk about this week. I guess the only really big thing is that, although not officially confirmed, was confirmed in the way that Emma Frost, Samara Weaving was confirmed. We have our Cyclops.
Yeah.
We have our Cyclops,
Kid Connor.
Kit Connor. I don't know if I love it.
Me neither.
I don't love it.
Yeah, me neither.
But
Okay,
Nick, I
why?
texted Nick about this, and he seemed to be pretty for it.
I mean, I'm neither really for nor against. I have no opinion on Kit Connor as an actor. I don't think I've really seen him in anything, but at least for the look, and I know he's in like Heartstoppers, and like I've seen like a few clips here and there of that, and then
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's like a Netflix show, and then other than that,
It's
like, yeah, I've never seen him in an actual like thing because I mean I haven't seen Heartstoppers. I just like know of its existence. But you know, he kind of looks the part. He's young. He seems to be like a talented enough guy. You know, he's been in Warfare and other movies, I guess. Yeah, I don't really have any objections against it.
he
You know,
was
he's
in
ginger.
he was in the Wild Robot as well. He voiced like the goose, the geese.
He did.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did. I do remember that.
Yeah, that's what marked me for now. of him.
That yeah,
Um,
I definitely have the performance of the geese very, very deep into my
Yeah.
mind. I remember that.
Okay.
No, I don't. Um, but yeah, why
So
are you guys
here's
so
my
against
thing-
it?
Here's my thing with Kit Connor. It's not that I don't think he'll do good. I just don't think he was the right choice. I think out of the names we were hearing, there were so many better
There were
options.
better options.
Like-
I'm gonna stick with like Cooper Hoffman. That was my pick for Cyclops. Definitely Cooper Hoffman, and then just other names I was hearing. Drew Starkey.
Drew Starkey.
That was one that me and
amazing.
Eliel were talking about. That also was one that was a name that was going around, and I feel like he could have been great. I don't know. I just maybe we just have to see it. I just it's not a name. Kit Connor isn't a name that excites me. That's not a name that's like, ooh, I'm really excited. Especially hearing that they're gonna anchor the new X-Men movie around Cyclops, which is how it should be. I don't know if he's the guy to do it,
Yeah.
but we'll have to see.
It feels kind of like when they announced Robert Pattinson as Batman. At first, everyone was like, "No, it's not gonna work out," but in the end, it did. So we'll probably be
That could be.
surprised.
That's an interesting.
That's what I think is gonna happen because he is a good actor. He has some merit to him. But like I'm open to have my mind changed. To be honest,
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to see it. Honestly,
Sure.
can't judge it until you see it.
I really feel like they picked him mainly because of like the look, the build, and the age. Because I looked up Drew Starkey. He's 32. You know, he's kind of getting there. He's not in his 20s anymore, at least.
Yeah,
and so, like,
that is true.
yeah.
that is
He
true.
and he does look like he's balding, low-key. bro got the Norwood 3s on him.
Yeah, he is.
And like I don't give a fuck
Banks, he
about
doesn't
that.
have hair anymore. You know, it's like
Oh yeah.
Exactly. And so like playing against that with like a really young look. I don't know how old Sadie. I think she's like 17 in Brand New Day. But the really young looking Jean Grey. And then listen, I would have loved Cooper Hoffman. I just don't know if he hits the right tone. I also
He does.
I also
Yeah,
would
I mean,
like him very far away from the Marvel universe just so he can keep doing his own things. Because like I actually think about this quite a lot. The advice that I don't remember what actor gave to Timothy Chalamet about like don't do any superhero films. I very much
DiCaprio. I think it was DiCaprio.
yeah,
was
I think it was DiCaprio, exactly. I very much agree with the idea that like once you're in like franchise films or superhero films, more like you're kind of stuck in that. You kind of get pigeonholed in that for the rest of your career. I think Cooper Hoffman has such a bright career ahead of him, especially with this last movie,
The Long Walk.
I Want Your Sex,
Yeah.
which you'll talk about
I
later.
saw it. So I'm gonna talk about it on what we watched.
But like that's what I mean. Like I wouldn't like him stuck within the Marvel machine. And I know Kit Connor is already within like franchises because of Heartstoppers and other things like that. So I don't really have any personal investment in him. So like yeah, whatever. Give him Cyclops. He's young. He's hip. He already has an
We're
audience.
just giving Cyclops to anyone.
Yeah.
That's the
just
other thing
random.
too. Like Cyclops isn't like the biggest. I mean, I know Cyclops has its shooters, but we don't really care about Cyclops like that. And, like nobody really gives a fuck about Cyclops like that.
I agree, but I also, in the way and direction that they're going in,
They need us to.
they're gonna
yeah.
make him important because he is the leader of the X-Men. Like before, we had Wolverine, but we're not getting a new Wolverine, I think, anytime soon,
I think we
especially
are.
with the direction they're putting. So with Cyclops, I feel like he's gonna be the main man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
We'll
they'll
see.
successfully make us care. I don't think they have to hire like an actor that we already like to make us care for Cyclops. I mean, if the guy who did the Thunderbolts is doing his job well.
Yeah, I was about to say he made me care about Red Guardian.
That's what I
and
mean.
Ghost and all these fuck ass characters. So I really do trust Drake Schreier.
So that means you cared about Taskmaster and Thunderbolts?
Well, I don't know if I had enough time with Taskmaster to form an opinion, unfortunately. But maybe Cyclops will get killed in the first 5 minutes, and this casting won't even matter. Who knows?
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it'll pan out. I see the vision. I see the vision.
I hope so. All right. I don't really have any other news. Is there anything you wanted to mention, Nick?
This isn't like major news, but I did want to mention it real quick. We got a new trailer for the new Robert Pattinson film Primetime.
Oh, we did.
Have you guys seen that?
It looks incredible.
It does
I did.
look incredible.
I've seen it a few times because I thought it was like one of the best trailers of the year so far.
Absolutely. I think
he's on a really good run.
Oh, 100%. I think I mean, I'm here for anything Robert Pattinson right now at the moment. I very much, he has the stuff, he has the X factor, and I think these movies and these roles that he's picking of kind of like dicey, kind of weird, interesting characters, especially with this one being Chris Hansen based on a very real person.
Losers. Just losers.
Yeah, essentially losers. I don't know. This film looks very interesting. I very much have my eye open for it. Not just because of Robert Pattinson, but also like the trailer itself shows like such a unique visual style, unlike anything I've seen in
cinematography
recent
looks
times.
great.
Yeah. It just looks cool. And I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah, the supporting cast looks really great as well.
That's true, yeah. It's very like they really marketed towards the colors of the film. I feel like A24 always does a really good job with that for like anything cinematography wise. So honestly, like,
yeah, I think it's gonna be really good. I think, you know, if his performance pans out, this could be his Oscar role, because he
could.
Them's big words, brother, but it could be.
Yeah.
Listen, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. He has like 4 movies this year. And with Dune, you don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know what's crazy? I don't know about this movie. I think this movie's a little bit too controversial to get like a lot of Oscars hype, but I could see him getting a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for The Odyssey. Genuinely.
Yeah. I can see that
for sure. Probably.
I think the Odyssey's gonna get nominated for a lot. I don't know if it'll win all of the things it's nominated for, but I think it'll probably get nominated in every single category, like essentially every category.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so far its only competition, in my honest opinion, is Obsession.
Project Hail Mary. That's probably gonna be
those are like the 3 big movies I think that are gonna.
Realistically, I think Dune's gonna be the one that's gonna be its biggest headache. Because I could see Dune 3 being like a Lord of the Rings 3 situation.
Yeah.
Where the King won like all the fucking Oscars. So I can see that maybe happening here. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's a very exciting time. I think it's gonna be a very interesting awards campaign this year. Yeah, award season.
What a crazy year for movies, definitely.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for what's poppin'. Let's move into what we watched. I'll start us off this week. I was able to watch I Want Your Sex, which is the new movie that Nick talked about last week with Olivia Wilde and Cooper Hoffman. And I thought it was incredible. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was very well paced. Thought it was shot really well. I thought Cooper Hoffman and Olivia Wilde gave such great performances. I really like Cooper Hoffman. Every time I see him in anything, I like him more and more.
Same.
Like you said, I think he has an incredibly bright future ahead of him. I thought that the movie had a lot of interesting points on what it was talking about, and I just think it was really well written. And I thought the dialogue was really strong and the character dynamics were really interesting. I like the supporting cast. I like Mason Gooding. I really like seeing him get roles.
Yeah.
And he's like in a lot of stuff these days.
He's definitely not getting the attention he deserves, like from general audiences, I feel. But I'm glad he's still getting roles.
Yeah, he's great. Love him. Love Chad. I really liked I Want Your Sex. I unfortunately wasn't able to see it in a theater. I was out of the country this past week, so I did have to sail the 7 seas, which sucks because I would have liked to see this movie. There you go. I, I would have liked to see this movie in theaters because I think it had a really cool visual style. And yeah, I really liked it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Eliel, have you? Oh, sorry. I don't know if you finished watching anything else.
No, yeah, I was about to pass it to Eliel. Eliel, is there anything that you watched this week that you want to talk about?
Let me think. Anything new? No, actually. This week I only went to the movies with you. Oh, we
Okay.
did watch what's the name of the movie? Watch with Charles Melton.
Oh yeah, her private health. We talked about that.
No
I
way.
think it was last.
That was the last one I watched with Elon. Before Spider-Man: Brand New Day, obviously, but no, that movie was complicated. That movie was.
Yeah, her
hard.
private hell was really bad.
Yeah, it
But
was.
I already trashed that movie enough on this pod. All right. So Nick, do you have anything that you wanted to talk about that you watched this week?
Yeah, I actually watched a few things. I'm gonna highlight two real quickly. One,
Yeah,
I
go
watched
ahead.
The Prince of Egypt for the first time. I will say I do think I was a little overhyped on this just because like I heard like, oh, it's like the best animated film of all time, whatever, this, that, and the other. And when I watched it, I thought it was spectacular. I thought visually it looked insane. There isn't an animated film that I can remember both going that far, like not being so unrestrained with its imagery, especially one targeted towards children at the time, and just being that like in depth with its theming, and just like I said, I feel like I can't stress this enough. Beautiful imagery, beautiful art, beautiful animation. Some specific highlights are like the plague scenes, especially the ones with like the door, like the blood on the doors and everything like that.
I have to
And
rewatch this movie. It's been a stupid amount of years.
That's
During the 10 Plagues is like incredible, I thought. Like some of the songs that they sing throughout, or just the score of the movie is also really nice, especially during the 10 Plagues.
that's where it lost me. I will say like maybe two or three songs like really were good. The opening song with the slaves, and then I think like the brothers song was like pretty good too. But other than that, I
Yeah.
feel like with the music, and also kind of like with just the general writing of like the characters within the film, I couldn't help but see this film as DreamWorks' attempt to doing like a Disney, not a Disney princess movie, but just like a classic Disney film, like you would like a Disney princess movie, how it's like adapting an old story.
Sense. Yeah.
This is their attempt at that, and it's a solid attempt, but they really lost me with the music, with some of the songs, especially like I can be specific, like the marriage song between Moses and his wife was not good in my opinion. Also the villain song of like, you're playing with the big boys now, I'm like, this is not it. And yeah, I mean, I really, especially with the inclusion of songs, because I didn't even know it was a musical.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it. I don't remember that it even had songs in it.
That's what I mean. I feel like they're definitely the most unmemorable aspects of the film, and
Yeah.
It kind of did lose me at the end. I also had issues with, I guess, how the story was taking place, just because I feel like it didn't take enough liberties. And there are reasons why. I feel like the things that made those Disney films so significant is the fact that they separated themselves so much from their original like folklore stories. Like, Little Mermaid had like her walking on glass or some shit like that. Obviously they didn't include that. And then obviously this film, the Prince of Egypt, it also makes differences, or it makes changes from like the original Bible story. But I think it's a little too afraid to make the differences even more extreme than they would, just because adapting a story like The Little Mermaid before it was the movie that we know as The Little Mermaid today, like nobody really gave a fuck about those stories, like The Little Mermaid, like Cinderella, like Snow White. Like nobody really cares. We can change those, we can do whatever we want, and matter of fact they did, and that's why we regard them as classics as they are. The issue with The Prince of Egypt is that like that's a story based on Bible, based on religion, wherein a lot of people will be upset if you make a lot of really in-depth changes to the narrative. And you can see that even in the very beginning. At the very beginning of the film, there's like a I don't want to say a warning, but there's like a sign that says, this story has been heavily changed from the original adaptation, but we still feel that we kept like the same spirit and the same idea behind it. I feel like that's what's really stopping it, is the fact that it's not changing as much. Just because, I don't know, I wasn't really into the Moses story, like, after he met God with the flaming bush. I was just like, it kind of became robotic and automatic. And as someone who's already also familiar with the Moses story, I was just like, I kind of know what's going to happen here. I don't really care. It's just being visually shown to me, like I said, great visuals. You know, it's that's that. But other than that, like, I was just like, I'm bored. I know what's going to happen, and I don't really care anymore. So yeah, honestly, like,
Interesting.
yeah, it's a good movie for sure. I would recommend anybody that hasn't checked it out to check it out. But if you just don't go in there expecting like a lot of crazy, I guess don't go in there expecting the best animated movie of all time, which is what I keep hearing. Because it's definitely not that. It's special, it's interesting, it's unique, it's something of its time, and it's worth the mention, and it's worth the attention. But it's not the greatest animated movie of all time, and maybe that's just also why I'm a little bit more negative towards this film than I would be. But that's that. And then I don't know if you guys had any thoughts about that or anything at all, or if I should just continue.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my only thought is that I've never rewatched it because I cannot believe I didn't know, or I guess I forgot that there were songs in this movie. So maybe I should give it a rewatch. That was the only thing going through my mind.
Sure. And then the other thing that I saw literally a few minutes ago was I rewatched Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
Yeah, and
before you tell, what motivated you to rewatch it? Out of curiosity.
I was half awake this morning scrolling through Twitter clips, and I saw the clip of, I think it was, Deadpool with the Wolverine montages, and I was like, oh, that's pretty fun.
God, I literally saw that exact montage this morning as well. That's, really
that's so funny. Bro, that's crazy. I mean, I think it's like popping off right now. I think a bunch of like movie clips are popping off right now. But yeah, so I saw that and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it another watch. I have like time today. So I did. And I liked it a little less than when I originally watched it. I still liked it. I still enjoyed it. You know, it's kind of, you'll be hard pressed to find a Marvel film that I won't enjoy. But you can definitely see the cracks on a rewatch, especially when it comes to the plot of like what's going on and how things are being kind of explained, or moreover the lack thereof of explanation. I'm more referring to, I feel like this movie's kind of also on autopilot in the sense of like, we need to have this, we need to have that, we need to have this, so that the conclusion can be that Deadpool and Wolverine are like chill and good by the end of it, right? So that they can continue being in the Marvel universe till he's 90.
Till he's 90.
Until he's 90. So yeah, and I just feel like they put a lot of stuff into this movie, like the two villains, Matthew McFadyen and Cassandra Nova. Paradox, that's who Matthew McFadyen is playing, and all these different things, and then they try to include this like personal arc of Deadpool like wanting to be bigger and better than what he was before, and like wanting to like save the world, something that was never really a part of like Deadpool's character in the first two movies, which is like fine. I don't necessarily mind that they added that personal character development in this film. I just wish I wish it didn't feel like of an excuse for the things to happen. I wish it felt genuine, that like, okay, like I wish it was more reoccurring within the film of like, no, I need to do this because whatever, like I need to be a better person, or I need to feel, I need to be meaningful. But instead it definitely takes the route of Marvel slop. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, even though it sounds bad, because, you know, there is a space in this world for Marvel slop. But after I watched this movie, I definitely came to the conclusion that there are two types of Marvel films. There are Marvel movies and there are Marvel films. Marvel movies are more concept driven and more like meant to either introduce new ideas into the MCU or be event films. So like, for example, Endgame is a Marvel movie. Pretty much any of the Avengers films are kind of Marvel movies. Fantastic Four I would consider a Marvel movie. The worst example would be like Thor: The Dark World. That's a Marvel movie. And then there are Marvel films where the focus of the story isn't to make the universe bigger. It's to progress a character, a personal character arc. So like I would give another example. Thunderbolts, I feel like, is a Marvel film where they have more where they give more reverence and importance to the actual characters of what's going on, and then like the arcs actually make sense. And then I would also consider Brand New Day a Marvel film wherein the main core of the film is the emotional journey that Peter Parker is being taken on throughout the whole film. So, and like I said, like it doesn't necessarily mean they're bad or good movies, whether they are Marvel movies or Marvel films, but the difference is there. The difference is noticeable, and I just thought that this was kind of more of an event film, more of a film to introduce the X-Men and Deadpool into the Marvel universe, more than actually give us a meaningful character arc with either Logan or Deadpool. So that was that. It did bump half a star down for me, because also, like I said, I thought I thought the humor was good, but I'm really, really, really getting tired of the fourth wall breaking humor within Deadpool and Wolverine. I was just like, okay, I get it. Yeah. You're part of the Marvel universe, and you always have to make jokes about Sony, or not Sony, Fox and Disney and all these characters and all these things happening, and the business side behind it. But and I get that that's like the whole joke of Deadpool, and like that's his whole point. But if you keep reminding me about the fact that this movie is a cash grab, then I'm just gonna feel like it's a cash grab by the end of it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of also what killed it for me. But the best aspects were definitely the character, the character dynamics of Deadpool and Wolverine. Like that car scene goes insane.
It's great. It's great. Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, the Marvel movies are more for moments, while Marvel films are more for the actual film as a whole and how it's treated and how it's considered. So yeah, that's what I think about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Cool. Thank you for that. I remember I saw that movie like 4 times in theaters when it came out, and then I haven't seen it since. So
personally, I really, really agree with Nick. Like, I had this debate with so many of my friends about whether Marvel movies and Marvel films. I actually like had the same exact argument.
Interesting.
And I agree completely with Deadpool and Wolverine. I feel like it was a cash grab in a way, in that it doesn't age well that much. I kind of feel the same about, like, maybe this is a controversial opinion, but like Spider-Man No Way Home, like it kind of has, not on the same like thematic level, but it has the same effect that when you look at Spider-Man No Way Home, I feel like there's still like as well so many plot holes, and it doesn't advance.
You can see the seams in the project.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No Way Home is a great example of a Marvel movie, by the way. That's another one I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's hard to talk about Marvel films because I'm looking at, like, I come at it as like so much more of a fan than just like a general audience member.
Yeah.
So like, listen, everything in me was freaking out during Deadpool, Wolverine, and Spider-Man No Way Home. But obviously, they're not like perfect movies. They have their issues. They have plot holes. A lot of the visuals aren't great. But listen, I will probably rewatch it before Doomsday.
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure.
So I'll make sure to talk about it on the podcast whenever I do.
Yeah, something I also noticed in this rewatch was how much establishment they do for Doomsday, more than obviously we realized back then when the movie first came out in 2024. Specifically, I think this is technically a spoiler, but because it's in Deadpool Wolverine,
the anchor beings,
not just the anchor beings. There's a specific scene in this movie where when Deadpool first goes into the TVA and then he sees all of like the different Marvel movies and like the history of Marvel.
Oh yeah.
There's a screen where Thor is crying over Deadpool.
Why is Thor crying?
Why is Thor crying? Exactly. And I'm like, oh shit, that's. I mean, we don't know if that's gonna happen because, like, that could just be a gag, but also that could happen.
That footage is just from Thor: The Dark World. Like,
interesting. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, they did. I actually checked. It's literally just Loki in his arms, but they switched out with Deadpool.
Yeah.
Interesting. But I mean, who knows? We could see
I
that
think
paid
it's a
off.
gag. I don't see. I don't see it.
I don't
paying
think
off.
it's that deep. I really think it's just a gag
Maybe
that like
so.
people don't notice because no one watched Thor: The Dark World in
Yeah.
realistically. So no one remembers that movie even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all I'm saying is like Thor is a big player in Doomsday and probably in Secret Wars too. So who knows? But yeah,
Yeah,
it
listen.
most likely is a gag.
If Deadpool's in it, I'm sure he'll bring up the why is Thor crying?
Yeah.
Like why were you crying? But I don't think it'll actually come out to anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah. But
Yeah. All right. Cool. So with that being said, let's move into our main feature. I'll start with a quick spoiler-free summary off the internet, and then we'll talk spoiler-free, and then we'll get into spoilers. Here we go. Recently dumped Owen and hopeful romantic Allie might be the only two singles in the city looking for more than just a quick encounter. They both feel a spark when they meet, but a series of missteps and side quests complicates their night, keeping them apart. As they race toward each other and away from each other, they just might discover the one thing that they want most is closer than they think. Eliel, I'll let you start. What did you think of One Night Only?
Wow. Okay. I was not the biggest this movie. The trailer I thought looked really interesting, and I really thought it was gonna be like much more. I was missing a lot of things, and I feel like the runtime of the movie does not help at all. I feel like the runtime is why is it this long? Like we know what's gonna happen from the beginning, and they take so long to get to that route. And I feel like the message and the whole themes and morals of the movie switch at every scene. So I was not the biggest fan. I thought if I personally like rating movies out of 10, I would give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Interesting. I'll jump in. Okay, so I wanted to like this movie. I think it's all right. I think it's just fine. I think it's a fun time, I guess, if you turn your brain off. I have so many questions about this world. I want to know everything. I want to know.
You
what
could
was
say
the
it left
reasoning
you
for-
wanting
for-
more.
Yeah, like I want to know what's the reasoning for the band. Like they go so surface level with the concept, and I think that's so unfortunate because it is a very interesting idea if the purge was for sex, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like they didn't really get, and that wasn't what the movie was trying to do.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help but just be more interested in that than whatever the movie was trying to accomplish in reality. I think Callum Turner was fine. I think him and Monaco Barbaro have good chemistry. I like their scenes together. But there was no point in the movie where I really wanted them to end up together. I wouldn't say I was rooting for them like I do in other rom-coms, like I did in the other Will Gluck. His previous film was Anyone But You. I would say I was much more rooting for that couple of Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney than I was for these two. Although I think they did have good chemistry. I don't know, something about them, something about they were written or the characterization. I just wasn't clamoring for them to end up together. But yeah, the movie was just fine. I need I don't even know what, like a prequel movie to kind of just go into the nitty gritty of how something like this even comes about. You could see like a bunch of like anti-propaganda about the repealing the mandate throughout the film, but they never like go into it. It's just like visuals, and it's like, oh, this is the movie I want. Like, let me see them like band together against the band. Like, I don't know, just
they didn't use the concept enough.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the concept was just there to be like, this is why we made this movie, but we're not gonna explain the whole thing about the band.
Yeah. It was. I don't think it was as interesting as it could have been personally. Nick, what did thou think of the film?
I definitely liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I was in the camp before I watched the movie of like, oh, this is going to be just like whatever. They're going to ignore the premise and just like do like a rom-com and it's going to be like meaningless. But after I watched the film, I have to disagree with you guys. I think the way that the political aspects of it were, the way that it was treated I thought it was perfect because
Really?
yes, because this isn't that movie. This isn't a political like
I get
revolution
it's not.
film,
Yeah.
and it doesn't need to be. I saw this film as a commentary on how people of our generation treat living within a fascist government. If I had to give you guys an example, it would be like, for example, when they repealed abortion rights like a few years ago or something like that.
Mhm.
We like, what did we do about it? Nothing. We sat here, you know, we changed like some you know, people maybe like wore more protection or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, we're not out here protesting every like these things. There are people who are doing that, and praise them for what they're doing, but more like normal, or not normal, I don't mean that, more of I guess like average citizens, they're not out there protesting the streets every day and every night. And these people that we see in the film are your average citizen. You know what I mean? There are we see protesters and political activists within the film, like, for example, the musician, and I think like the Melissa Barbaro's like friend character is kind of like subtly trying to be that. I think that's what they're trying to do. But I think this film, what it does great is it makes you see that like we live in a world where we live in the instability of a fascist government, wherein like just things can change and things can happen and you kind of don't have any control over it, and we kind of just have to live with it. We either live with it or we leave the country, and since we're not going to leave the country anytime soon, we're just going to have to live with it. Realistically, if this law were to take place in our world, yes, there 100% would be protesters and graffiti and like I said, activists, but other than that, like, we would just get the tattoo ourselves and then just continue living our lives. And I think the way that it is treated, with Melissa Babar going to the police center and then having that argument with the detective or whatever she was, saying like, oh yeah, like being like, oh, you're really keeping the streets safe, and you know, essentially giving her agenda as to how she feels about the law. I think that's kind of all we really needed for, one, an explanation, and two, like an actual I guess rejection of the law that's take place. Because you know, this movie, it's a rom-com, but underneath that rom-com we get the political satire. It could have, maybe, yeah, sure, maybe it could have gone deeper into like the politics of it all, but then it wouldn't be a rom-com and it wouldn't be directed by Will Gluck. You know what I mean? We would get
No, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not the movie that it is, but it's the movie I would have much rather preferred to watch. And if you're gonna set this movie in this context, in this world, I don't quite frankly give a fuck about these two people trying to find love under these circumstances. I want to see the history of what's going on here. I think that would have been.
We
a
kind
much
of
more
get it,
interesting
don't
film.
we get like the guy at the beginning, the TV
Yeah,
news
you
guy.
get a cliff note. You get a cliff notes, but
Yeah, you get a little bit.
but you don't really see how people are feeling about it. You don't really get.
We
like
do.
the
We get graffiti and we get all these different things, and also like people
it's
talk
all
about it.
surface level. There's no like character interactions where they're like, oh, this shit is affecting our lives, or like why society is so like focused on it. Like you could see on the ads, like Dunkin' Donuts ads, like all like promoting it. Like, why is this world making sex like it's the biggest thing in the entire whole world? It doesn't like. I don't know. It just didn't make full sense to me.
I don't think, I kind of agree with Nick with the whole like the political spectrum of this movie. However, like it would have been nice, like Elon said, to see things that are not on a surface level, because it is affecting the whole world. And you know, it doesn't need to be a grand message. In reality, the movie, I feel like its message is not really to be political either. That's why I feel like the movie doesn't know its message. Is it about having the idea that sex really matters in a relationship? Does it not matter? But also, in the context of the film, it's been 3 years since that mandate. So, and you mentioned this point, Nick, that, well, regular people at one point, they stop, you know, protests and arguments and all that. Like, sometimes us humans, we see a horrible thing happen, we talk about it for a month, and then we stop. So for them, for 3 years, I guess at one point they kind of moved on and just accepted it, you know. But
it's like a holiday for them.
Yeah, like at this point, it became the normality of their life. But I feel like they could have shown more like the people, if they were protests in this film, but they could have shown the real inconveniences to not have sex during the year if you're not married as well, because there's also the factor that some characters in the movie were just getting married just to have sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they didn't go into that idea. I also one thing that really bothered me about this film is that I understand it wanted to be a rom-com, but nothing that's going on in this rom-com is particularly interesting. It's just a compilation of side quests of these characters splitting apart because one of them does something stupid and they're coming back together. Rinse and repeat for an hour and 42 minutes. It just got really stale and really repetitive very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
I thought this movie could have worked better as a short, personally.
Yeah.
Take the concept out. Just take two people who have shitty lives and bad relationships and let them spend a night together. I don't know, however you formalize it, but it would have been so much better as a short. Like I said, the runtime of this movie, it didn't like add to anything, to be honest. Like Ilan said, it's really repetitive, and we're not getting into spoilers yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's hop into spoilers,
Yeah,
actually.
okay.
Nick, are you good with that? All right, so if you haven't seen the movie and you plan to, now's a good time to click off. Here, you can just continue your thought.
Yeah, so throughout the movie, we see them separate over and over again. Once at a nightclub, once
The condom situation.
It's over and again, and we know they're gonna end up together, but they keep doing all these little separations. Like, we know we know the ending, but make it like, I don't know, also like the message of the movie again, like, is it about them wanting to have sex? Is it about them wanting to have a meaningful relationship? In the end, they wait a year for it. Does it amount to anything? Like, we don't understand what either truly wants. At first, we see Owen's character as a romantic who wants to have sex with his girlfriend. And remind me, the Allie's character, same thing. She's romantic, and then they just think about sex. And obviously the human is not perfect and its desires takes over and we don't really know what we want ever.
The switch was too drastic too quickly.
Yeah, it was too drastic too quickly. And yeah, it just didn't...
Sorry, what switch are you guys referring to that happened too drastically?
Because they're all so much about love and connection, but then they'll immediately just be on the hunt for someone to have sex with. And I just feel like it kind of felt like they were going against the character that they were setting up just for the plot of the film, the side quests to occur, and then they, meet back to where they were.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't done interestingly. The side quests that they were doing weren't fun. The nightclub one, I just thought was stupid, like where they were following the people in the subway. Like, I was like, oh, this is all that it's leading up to. It was a nice moment with her singing. Don't get me wrong. I liked. I wish they focused more on her like singing career.
Yeah,
I wish they built up these characters more. I don't feel like we really knew these characters, knew what they wanted, knew what they and I feel like the best rom-coms really put you into the mind of the two characters and really
what they
makes you understand that their relationship and their dynamics. And I would say that this one really didn't really do that.
Yeah, its concept didn't really add to that, I think, as well, because if you take out the concept for just a second, because throughout the movie, I forgot that they're not allowed to have sex. And like, for me, it just felt like a movie about two people not having a condom and not one.
Yeah.
Like let's say you're at a big party, you're with a bunch of friends, you have like a situationship with somebody, but you don't know if they're into you, so you go to a bunch of other people, it doesn't work out, and you go back to your situationship. That's what the whole movie felt like to me. Hence why I thought it would work better as a short, because it didn't even really feel like, for them at least, that they had any constraints throughout the years to not have sex. And that's, again, you don't know what they really want. The concept doesn't feel like it's there on them as much, and it's too long for what it is.
Yeah, I will say it was funny. I think
it was funny.
I think that there were some really great funny moments and good line delivery.
Funny cameos as well.
Yeah. I like the Glenn Powell and the Sydney Sweeney and Pete Davidson. There was a lot of great moments within the film, but I would say the overall, I unfortunately didn't really work the best for me.
It's not about the destination; it's about the journey. All right.
Listen, the journey wasn't great.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the journey. I'll agree with this. I'll agree that the final message of the film is like kind of muddled. I don't necessarily know. I kind of like the fact that they didn't have sex at the end, just because.
Oh, I thought that coming before I even walked into the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That was, I knew that was gonna
Again,
happen.
that was
Sure,
obvious.
sure.
From a mile away.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I kind of felt weird about it because of the message of the film. I was like, okay, so what are you trying to do? Because I guess if the whole film is against this idea that people shouldn't have sex, that people like should be free to have sex, and then your final characters at the end decide to not have sex and just decide to follow the rules. I was like a bit like weird and iffy on that. But honestly, I will say it does get a little repetitive, and maybe some of the characters aren't as interesting, and as yeah, we do get the just running into each other over and over again. It doesn't need to be as long as it is. I wouldn't say a short, because at the end of the day, I also did find it funny. And I also did like the chemistry between Monica Barbaro and Callum Turner, and also their little side quests. I enjoyed. I feel like
Which one was your favorite?
Yeah.
which one was my favorite side quest? Honestly, probably like the initial condom one, just like them both because
Yeah.
I think I
That
just
was good. That was
I
good.
That was the peak of the movie, I would say.
I would
That was the
say
best sequence.
yeah. I mean, I also just like it's not specifically for condoms, but I just relate to it so much in the sense of like, bro, like you're just trying to get something done, and then like there's all of these different things that are just preventing you from getting that shit done. Like, and I feel like that's kind of what the whole movie was. And also like as someone who lives in New York, bro, I'm a New York LARPer. Like it definitely hit that tone, and it got that sense
Yeah.
really nicely. Um, but honestly, yeah, like I didn't mind it as much, or I didn't mind the too many coincidences, or the constant like separating and getting back together, just because I do feel like, it made them actually ending up together despite all of these different distractions going on around them feel more meaningful.
I can see that.
And yeah, I mean, I also thought it was just funny too. I will say that the least interesting aspects for me was their personal characters, like the Monica Barbaro singing aspect. I was just not into. Also, like her like daydreaming thing, I wasn't like super into. I did like the switch at the end when like they're in the pizza shop, and like she's imagining them having sex, and then that ends up not being real. I did like that part. But like I thought when she's singing in the club, and then like everybody puts their phones, even though I knew it was fake, I was like, this is like really corny. And then like other aspects here and there, I was just like, this isn't really working. I didn't care enough about these characters individually to like properly want to like see her singing or see him do whatever he's doing, Owen. But I cared about them as a unit, and I did want to see them together at the end, despite all of these things going on around them. And I also just like, I feel like if we did get like the alternative to the movie that we got here would be like a deeper, more political film about like maybe these two characters are like protesters and they're protesting the whatever. And I know you're saying that like it doesn't need to be that, but I feel like if we do go deeper into that subject, then the movie kind of has to become that. It becomes it would have to make a deeper decision about whether it is a rom-com or a political resistance movie. Just because I don't want to keep saying political satire.
No, I mean that's fair. That's fair.
And like like I said, like I just think the way that this movie did treat it, it works because as a reflection of how we treat these actions or these legislative changes today. You know what I mean? Like I said before, we don't really care, or we didn't. Not that we didn't care, but none of us did anything when like abortion was repealed. I kept thinking about that. I kept thinking about like the abortion rights, because I feel like that's the main point, or the main inspiration for this type of story. And yeah, like people really didn't do much other than like protesting, and not that there's really much to do, but and I just thought that it was accurate more than anything, and I appreciated the accuracy, because anything more than that would be too preachy, and then anything less than that would be a nullification of the premise itself. You know what I mean? I appreciated how realistic it was with how much care these characters actually put into the legislation, which is like, yeah, we care, but we can't do anything about it. Because they can't do anything about it. This movie would have to take place in DC, and they would have to literally kill whoever the president was in this movie for
Yeah.
it to
No,
make any
yeah,
change.
it would have been a different movie.
That's what I mean.
Agree. It's just watching this movie, I wish I was watching that
Yeah.
movie. If that makes sense.
You also
Okay, I can see
mentioned
that.
like you mentioned like realistic aspects of this movie. I agree for that part, but a lot of other elements of this movie, I feel like were not real. Like from a more technical standpoint of the film, New York doesn't look like New York in this movie. I personally believe. I've never seen streets that empty or that clean in New York. And for some reason, they keep meeting. Obviously, that's for the sake of the movie, but I don't know.
It just felt contrived.
Yeah, I don't know. It just that threw me off a little bit. And then the whole like Empire State Building thing, which I feel like served kind of no purpose in the end because we
Don't even end there. We end on a little red.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That for me just was like just talk about the lighthouse. Why the Empire State? We all thought like I guess they end up at the Empire State. No, we just see him pass by. And magically when she goes to the lighthouse, he's behind with 2 coffees. Obviously that's a common like
Trope.
Well, they did talk
in
about
those
it.
types of movies. But
No, they talked about the red lighthouse.
yeah, they did. But that he magically pops up out of nowhere. Again, yeah, it's just it's a trope in those type of movies, but I don't know. For me, it just seems there's too many coincidences in this film for me to be like realistic enough.
I would agree there are too many coincidences in this film, but that also didn't necessarily bother me just because, and this is like a more about personal experience, but like I have had a personal experience while living here. I've had a personal experience where I just kept meeting up with the same people super coincidentally, or meeting up with one same person super coincidentally, kind of within the same sort of like romantic context. And I was just like, what are the odds? What are the fucking odds? Like, you really would be surprised with the same people that you keep seeing over and over again. And so
I mean, you also live there.
That's what I mean. So like I also do think I have like a little bit of bias towards the fact that this movie takes place in New York, and also like a lot of the scenes were filmed in like one of my favorite neighborhoods here, Delancey, Essex. But yeah, I mean, it is contrived in the sense of filmmaking, or like just the structure of what we consider good movies. But it kind of worked for the spirit of what this movie was trying to convey, which more than the political aspects of it, I feel like this movie is trying to do, or is trying to like hold the spirit of New York, whatever that means. And it is a little LARPy. I do think it is a little like much, but also it kind of works. I'm more generally surprised with how much this movie worked for me, and maybe on a rewatch I'll have a different opinion.
Good. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Like I said,
Yeah.
there were great moments. I like the sequence of like the biker guy like jumping out the window.
Yeah,
Like, there were individual moments that worked for me. It was as a whole, I would say.
I don't know if this was really there because I don't see very well in general, but there was one of the signs, like overall in the visuals of the movie, you see a bunch of people like tagging like fuck me this, fuck me that, and one of them I'm almost 90% sure said fuck me Mamdani, and I thought
no
that was
fucking way.
absolutely hilarious.
Oh
I don't know
my
if that's
God.
what it said, but it looks like that's what it said, and I thought that was pretty fun.
It probably said Mandate, bro.
Maybe.
Oh maybe.
Oh yeah, after Mandate, that sounds more likely.
Yeah, but I feel like Mamdani would have been a better joke, to be honest.
Oh, that's funny.
But
I'm glad.
yeah.
Listen, Nick, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your guys' opinions on it as well. I don't think there is a world where this movie is like appreciated by everyone. I think the concept is too silly, and it's also like a rom-com. Movies that generally just aren't really are very much like to each their own. Like, everyone has their favorite rom-com. No two rom-coms are the same unless they're very derivative of each other. But like, that's what I mean. I think this movie was smart enough to like keep me like intellectually entertained with like the political aspects, and I think it was also dumb enough to have me giggling throughout with like stupid sex puns or whatever. And
There we go.
That's it. That's really what it comes down to. I would
That's a
recommend
really
it.
bad end of the day.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. They were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you guys recommend it?
Yeah. I would say it's like a fun watch.
Honestly, if you watch it with like a nice group of friends, it's a fun watch.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is a fun watch because it is a funny movie after all. In the end.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, that's it for episode 50 of Popcorn Problems. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you made it this far, you're the real MVP. We'll be back next week reviewing The End of Oak Street. In the meantime, you can hit us up on socials at Popcorn Problems Pod and let us know what you thought of One Night Only. Don't forget to follow, rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're using, and DM us your hottest takes and suggestions. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Have a good one.